Hi everyone. So today I'm going to start that unit 6 HS second year biology, that is reproduction, and myself Abhijit Dev, and today I will be starting chapter 1 of reproduction. We know that reproduction is the process through which that progeny comes out, or from a single cell two daughter cells are formed. So let's see in details about it. Each and every organism can live only a certain period of time. The period from birth to the natural death of an organism represents its lifespan. So this is the lifespan of an. So what is lifespan? The period from birth to the natural death of an organism is lifespan. And here we will say that mm, only immortal. No individual is immortal except that single cell organisms like amoeba and all. Why we'll say that? Why do we say there is no natural death in single cell organism? Because in single cell organisms, from one organism it divides to two cells and from two to four. So it is said that no that single cell organisms are immortal, and this process continues. Okay. So next is that what is reproduction? The process reproduction is defined as a biological process. Means it is a process through which an organism gives rise to its young ones or offspring. So we can say it baby that is similar to that of its parents. The offsprings then grow, mature, and they will also produce offsprings. Okay, thus there is a cycle of birth. This there is a cycle of birth, growth, and death occurs. That reproduction enables and reproduction is very much important because it maintains the continuity of a species generation after generation. Because if some organism do not reproduce, or if a species do not reproduce, then after its death its species will extinct or abolish. So to continue its generation, reproduction is very much essential. And there is a large variety of biological world, and each organism has evolved its own mechanism. Yeah, here you can see that variety, or there are diverse variation, or large number of varieties are there. There are various varieties of organisms are there in our surrounding, but everyone reproduce, but maybe their process or their internal some factors may be different, but the process is almost same. And these are that reproduction is mainly depend on that organism's habitat, its internal physiology, and several other factors are collectively responsible for how it reproduce. Means how that organism will reproduce. The factors like habitat, its internal physiology, and other factors like environment, etc., are also responsible for its reproduction processes. So based on whether there is participation of one or two in the process of reproduction, means whether dependent on the whether single parent is involved or two parents are involved, depending on it, reproduction is of two types. When offspring is produced by a single parent without involvement of gamete formation, that is that type of reproduction is asexual. And when two parents of opposite sexes, that is when male and female, participate in the reproduction process, and also involve fusion of male and female gametes to form zygote, that is fusion of male and female gametes occurs to form zygotes, and this type of gametes are called sexual reproduction. So let's study about asexual reproduction. In this method, a single parent or a single individual is capable of producing offspring. As a result, that offsprings are the exact copies of their parents, and this type of daughter cells or this type of progenies are called clone because they are morphologically and genetically similar individuals. Okay. Hmm. So let's see how widespread asexual reproduction is among different group of organisms. Asexual reproduction is common among single-celled organisms and in plants and animals with relatively simple organization. That is, lower organisms mostly that possess like algae and some other lower organisms, they go for asexual reproduction, like unicellular organisms. And in here, in protists and monerans, the organism of the organism in protist and monerans, the organism or the parent cell divides into two, give rise to two new individuals. Thus, in these cells, thus in this organism, cell division is itself a mode of reproduction. Here in lower organisms or like Protista, monerans, the cell division is a mode of reproduction because from one cell they will divide and form two cells like this way. It will continue. And many single cell organisms reproduce by binary fission where a cell divides into two halves and each rapidly grows into an adult. Here you can see that this is a binary fission. Here a young cell at in binary fission is a relatively simple type of cell division. The cell elongates. First, that cell will elongate and then replicate its chromosome and separates the newly formed DNA. Here, separates the newly formed DNA molecule so that there is one chromosome in each half of the cell. So, two chromosomes are there in each half, two halves, two chromosomes are there, and finally, a septum or a crossword is formed. This is the septum or a crossword is formed at mid cell, dividing the two parents, dividing the parent cell into two progeny, each having its own chromosome and a complement of the other cellular components. Okay, means here at first the a young cell at early phase of the cycle that this one. This one is a young cell and a parent then prepares for division. Here the parent is preparing for division, then here the parent is preparing for the division, then the septum is synthesized completely um, through the cell center and the cell membrane patches itself so that there are two separate cell chambers, and at this point the daughter cells are divided. Okay, and daughter cells getting separate, and from one parent two two daughter cells are coming out. So let's see what is there. Here you can see that in yeast some budding technique is also there, and in budding suppose this is the parent cell. This is the parent cell. Here it will enlarge from, then the two separate cells are coming. Might at first they will attach to itself. After maturation it will fall off, or sometimes it stays also. In ginger you can see it is that budding technique. In ginger you will see it is the budding technique, and whereas a cell division in yeast, the cell division is unequal and small parts that I have shown you. in the diagram, that budding buds are produced that remain attached initially to the parents, which eventually get separated and mature into yeast organisms. Okay, thank you. That's all for today. From next on next class, we'll start from that members. Thank you.